I will be reading the Aruuu portion of Cinder's Google Doc. Now, I've covered this in my previous video, but the reason why I'm still covering this is because I believe we as fans of Cinder should take a moment to read Cinder's Google Doc. And I'm also doing this because I've seen too many content creators brush off Cinder's 1,000-page Google Doc and repeating the same old narrative when this Google Doc clearly debunks those claims. So, call it self-serving if you will, but I think it's only fair that we hear what Cinder has to say. Now, in regards to my progress with covering everything related to this document, I'm at the 45% mark. Once I finished everything, I'll just leave that in the past and move on with my life. So, with that being said, if you want to support Cinder, there will be a link to her card in the description below. In the card, you can go to her Twitch, YouTube, and socials, as well as the merch store. You can support her through there. Now, without further ado, I'll go ahead and read the Aruuu section. Okay, just another thing before I read it. I'm mainly gonna read, like, Cinder's notes on it. I will leave it up to you, the viewer, to go to the links that she has in this section and read from the source material yourself of, like, the allegation posted against her. But I'm just mainly going to be reading her comments regarding that. So, hey. Alright. Aruuu. Aruu's tweets for reference. And she provides links to the X post that Aruuu made, posted after my apology on April 27, 2025 at 7:42 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then another X post that Aruuu posted on April 28th, 2025 at 9:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Aruuu took the opportunity to speak out against me and lie, claiming that I used her as a tool to get to Silvervale, and that's all she ever was to me. I met Aruuu during a Twitch Rivals event in September of 2022, and I met her in person with Red at TwitchCon the following month. At the con, she mentioned that she knew Silvervale while we were sitting by the Fijojo booth. This was the first time I learned this, and I didn't notice they were mutuals, like she claimed. I told her I was planning to go to her meet and greet the next day. I had nothing against Silvervale at the time this happened, and I wasn't motivated to meet her by deep hatred like Aruuu claimed. I chose to invite Aruuu to come with me because I was nervous to see her myself, but I was going either way. Red was with us, but he stepped away to the side when we saw Silver. While Aruuu, Red, and I were waiting in line, or right after the meet and greet, Aruuu was the one who suggested the idea of a K9 collab between us two and Silver, even though she claimed I pushed it onto her in her tweet. Since it was a verbal conversation 3 years ago, I don't have any evidence of this other than Red and I both being able to corroborate it. However, Red told this exact thing to Nano in May of 2023, provides a convo between Redacted and Nanoless on May 10th, 2023. After the con, I asked Aruuu about the idea to see if she was serious, and she happily asked Silver about it. At the start of December, I asked Aruuu again about the collab to check if she'd heard anything about it. She said, "Let me message her right now," which she admitted was a lie in her tweet. Aruuu never said anything else about it, and I didn't ask her again. This in no way changed my friendship or view of Aruuu. She said, by 2023, our interactions nearly stopped. But yet we continued to message each other on and off over the next 8 months. I even asked her to voice in one of my lore videos in May of 2023, and when she was hesitant about being a part of it, I reassured her I still wanted her to be. It was around that time Aruuu fell out of VTubing and we grew apart. The last messages in our DMs were from her asking me about doing the IT escape room at TwitchCon that year. Although I never replied to her directly, us and a group of friends did plan and do the Saw escape room there that year, which was organized in a separate Discord server. I have no idea what she's talking about in her tweet when saying Cinder made it clear in real life that she didn't even like me. I would see Aruuu at conventions and events, and every time I've interacted with her, I always treated her as my friend. She hasn't messaged me and I haven't messaged her, but now it's because I was always just using her to get to Silvervale? I messaged her about the collab she had the idea for twice. Ever. Almost a year before we stopped talking. Silver had no obligation to do anything with us, and I didn't hold the fact that the collab never happened against Aruuu. Her suddenly thinking she'd like to come back to VTubing in the same tweet she lied about me when it was popular to do so is extremely opportunistic. Below are the entirety of my DMs with Aruuu. And here, Cinder notes some things about the screenshots, such as the the screenshots in chronological order. All the dates and times are in Eastern Standard Time. She has censored private information, names of people that aren't directly involved. The screenshots that include messages that were in any of the documents are highlighted with a red border. The dates and important messages within any screenshots are highlighted in yellow. So that's just some stuff there. And then Sinder proceeds to show the entirety of her DMs with Aruuu. Okay, so she starts talking to her in September 12th of 2022. And then in the next section, October 7th, 2022 to October 11th, 2022, messages during my trip to TwitchCon. So these are the messages here. Then October 8th to 2022, I asked Aruuu if she wanted to come meet Silverbell with me. I was going to the meet and greet myself either way. This screenshot has a red border to it, and earlier, Sinder said that screenshots that include messages that were in any of the documents are highlighted with a red border, so this was included in a document. So these two. Next, the image of us meeting Silver that Aruuu posted later that day. I did not make my own tweet about meeting Silver, and she provides an excellent a link to an X post that Aruuu made on October 8th, 2022. Here was Silver's reply to Aruu's tweet. This was so adorable. It was amazing meeting you both, Canine Girls. Conversation continues. On October 11th, 2022, I messaged Aruuu on my way home from TwitchCon if she was actually planning to ask Silvervale about a collab together, which she did. I said, were you still thinking about messaging Silvervale? Because the collab was her idea. Moving on, the screenshot of Aruu's DMs with Silver that she sent me. Silver never got back to Aruuu about this, and Aruuu never brought it up to me or Silver again. And so, some more screenshots between Sinder and Aruuu. On October 24th, 2022, here is the VOD of the collab Aruuu and I planned together. November 11th, 2022, between the messages above, Aruuu and I had another collab with a couple of our friends that was planned in a group chat. November 30th, 2022, I asked Aruuu if she was okay with me getting a skeb of us together. December 2nd, 2022, almost 2 months after TwitchCon, I asked Aruuu if she'd ever heard from Silvervale about the collab. In her tweet, she admitted she never actually asked Silver about it again. And neither of us brought it up after this. 2 days earlier, on November 30th, 2022, I messaged Silver on Twitter about hanging out off stream, and doing so reminded me of the collab with Aruuu. And that's it. So that is Aruu's section. Now I know what you're thinking. Godfred, why didn't you read the screenshots? I just wanted to read what Sinder had to say. I will leave it up to you, the viewer, to read the screenshots for yourselves, because that's a lot of text to read. And I've already read that on my stream, covering this. So, I just wanted to read Cinder's take on that. So, with that being said, I'm getting there. I'm getting done with covering this. The way, like, these digestible shorts, mind you. And if you want to support Sinder, there will be a card in the description below where you can go and support her through it, where the card obviously links to all of her stuff, so feel free to check it out. And with that being said, I know I skipped over a lot of screenshots, and I will say it again, I'm not reading those screenshots. I've already read them on stream. I'm letting you, the viewer, read it. I'm just reading what her words about those screenshots. So, yeah. Not that great, I will admit that, but trying to make it digestible for people. Anyway, with that being said, everything I use for this video will be in the description below. I encourage you, the viewer, to go to the source so that way you yourself can come to your own independent conclusion.